recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
We are excited here at Z Games today.
Oh, Paul.
What?
You're still on.
What? I'm still on what? No,
Are you not?
No,
It was still flashing.
No, Ronnie doesn't understand Paul's tricks with the computer.
I don't
That's all
anymore.
right.
It's fine.
Well,
eyes
Z Games.
deceive me.
I mean, you're right, but you don't understand what I've done. And this is Z Games. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me tonight are Cameron, Caroline,
Hey.
and Rainey.
Woo!
Woo! Da, 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 da. And tonight is a very special night because... That's right. We've got the studio packed because I got a vasectomy.
Yay! And I got a divorce!
Yay!
Anyone
Now I'm
else?
doing a PhD.
Yay!
I had a curry for lunch.
Oh, Cam wins. Excellent. No, tonight will be mostly themed about a little man in a green hat called Zelda.
Not Tingle? I've been playing Tingle all week.
That's all good. I also didn't get any reaction I wanted.
I'm the only one in the studio
I
that
love
does not
Mr.
have a
Zelda.
Switch
He's good.
now.
Yeah, we're all sitting in the studio playing our Switches.
And I'm knitting.
I'm rounding around on a dragon, farming materials.
Some good dragon times. Okay, but before we get into any of that stuff... Yeah, spoilers for Breath of the Wild there. We weren't talking about the new one. Anyway, before we do that, and before we do news, we have some business of our own to discuss. If you are in Brisbane, which most of you would be, I would assume, you can come along to Netherworld next week at this time. So that makes that...
next week.
That's the 15th, isn't it? The 15th, starting at 6 p.m. We are hosting, along with Netherworld, a indie game night. So local developers coming up and showing off their wares, which are a lot of them will let you play them and you can meet them and have a good old time. So be there or be somewhere else, but that's a good choice.
And if you're somewhere else, come to Brisbane.
Game Master, give me your strongest game.
Oh,
No.
You can meet all these new up-and-coming game developers with the light still in their eyes.
You can even meet us.
We have no light.
Well,
You can see the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
And some of us will be in the studio geeking out over whatever we call this E3 period now. Game period.
I know, it's so much fun.
Oh yeah, whatever this is.
I used to enjoy taking the week to every night is okay, I'm getting up at 2 a.m, I'm watching this conference, you move your life around it. Maybe it's just me.
You weren't up at 2 a.m. this morning?
I'm old.
Guerrilla Game Collective was this morning. Had some nice ones, but the real one starts tomorrow morning.
I mean, I was up
with
at
Summer
2.
Game Fest at 5. 5 is doable.
done
It's not too much. When
Five is
I
manageable.
ask people to join me at 2 and 3, they all look at me as if I'm insane. But
You are.
I can be. I am obsessive when it comes to many things in life. Anyway, before we get on to news that hasn't happened yet, let's look at some news that just happened.
This week in gaming news, Apple Vision Pro is Vision. Apple has unveiled their newest creation, their first spatial computer. What does that mean? Well, it's a headset much like your typical VR headsets that is supposed to seamlessly blend digital content with the world around you. Imagine being able to project your workspace onto a wall while still being totally aware of the world around you thanks to the ability to see through the headset. It features 23 million pixels across 2 displays and it tracks your eyes, hands, and voice. Your monitor and keyboard can be set up anywhere at any time, effortlessly, so you can partake in hustle culture for the low price of $5,250 or so for Aussies. Speaking of corporate greed, Eric Covington, a former Activision Blizzard designer, wrote a few cheeky lines for a World of Warcraft venture co-Loot Goblin. The lines were approved and implemented into the game, and the jokes were promoted on the official World of Warcraft Twitter account. But that doesn't stop you from getting fired for allegedly inserting inappropriate non-game related content into a game. The lines this venture co-Loot Goblin had: "Let's call this a cost of living adjustment, no profit sharing, and looks like another yacht for me." Blazeball is done. Baseball, best described as a cultural event, was a game that looks like a baseball stat tracking page. You could pick your favorite teams such as Kansas City Breathmints, bet with fake money, and even partake in voting for rule changes. With weather events such as jazz, players being able to die and be resurrected, and something about a peanut god, it is clear that baseball will be missed. Unfortunately, it was just too costly in terms of finances, time, and resources, meaning that the developer, the game band, has had to make the difficult decision to bring it to a close after 3 years of joy, heartbreak, and absurdity. Duke Nukem Remastered AI Art. Blaze Entertainment has revealed a remaster for Duke Nukem 1 and 2, including some album art with some weirdness going on with the fingers, a typical sign that it was generated using an AI tool. AI-generated art has been facing a lot of controversy recently, as the tools often use original artists' work to train, and are considered lazy and cheap. Whilst AI artists claim that it is nothing more than utilizing a unique set of skills to create something new. Blaze Entertainment initially doubled down, but has posted a statement acknowledging that the original image was AI generated and that they would be commissioning a new piece of art to replace it. Gays? In my Overwatch? Not if you're in countries with intolerant laws towards the LGBT plus community. All Pride content will be opt-in, giving players control over how they want to express themselves, or if they'd rather not express themselves at all. In selected countries, the option won't be available at all, with Pride content being blocked. Our values are to protect players. You can equip a cosmetic in one country and travel to somewhere else with different rules and get in trouble. So I feel like it's our responsibility to help protect people like that, says Aaron Keller, an Overwatch 2 developer. And now for some upcoming games. June 8th brings Harmony, The Fall of Reverie for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and Switch, Mask of the Rose for the PC and Switch, Pro Cycling Manager 2023 for the PC, Speed Crew for the Switch, Tour de France 2023 for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4 and Xbox One. June 9 brings Grey Hill Incident for the PC, PS5 and PS4. June 14 brings Black Desert Online Land of the Morning Light expansion for the PC, and WWE 2K23 Race to NXT Pack DLC for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4 and Xbox One. That's it this week in gaming news.
Thank you, Zara, for being news, and that was some news. There was also more VR news in the non-E3 period as we are now. One of the first people to kick off a showcase was Meta, which is still a terrible name. So they announced they announced the Oculus Quest 3, and unlike the
that's not the Meta Quest.
It is the Meta Quest, but I hate it. I hates it, mate.
Fair enough.
Filthy hobbits, filthy metas. So the Meta Quest 3 is coming out later this year. I think Australian, it's like $750 or something.
Okay.
Which is a lot nicer than the 5.2 grand-ish or so. The Vision Pro isn't even announced for Australia. It's not even listed on Apple's Australian website or anything. So
Classic.
I think that price was very much this is not for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's for Apple fans.
You do not deserve this technology.
Look, as somebody who's bought into the ecosystem, I will not be buying into this.
It should work well in the ecosystem.
It would.
It is an impressive piece of tech.
It is really, really cool.
It has a lot of promises in its mostly bullshot trailer to live up to.
My first thought in that trailer when they get on the plane, and I was just like, that would be so much motion sickness. That would be two types of motion sickness right there. Why would I take that on a plane? Why? No.
It's for
just
fun.
No.
Now, and BlazBall is also finished, which is kind of sad. It's a weird thing that I never got into, but Hazel was going to bring me into it. Was going to because they run one of the largest Discords for BlazBall apparently, I was going to bring me in like as a sage, like a priest, and show me this world. And now it's to be no more.
This world is shut to you.
Anyway, we have a big show tonight.
Do we?
So, it depends what we want to do.
Is it like
we can just talk whatever.
150 something hours worth of show?
Well, for one of us, it's over 190 hours worth of show so far.
I haven't checked Discord in like 3 days. I don't know what's going on anymore.
It says I've done over 190 hours.
But what game are we talking about? What bring everyone up to speed?
Tingle's Balloon Ride.
No.
This is the latest
2000.
Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom. So before we start, Just a little warning here. That's our spoiler alert. If you do want to avoid anything about this game and you have not played it yet...
Which game?
Tears of the Kingdom. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Thank you for that, Cameron. Feel free to vaguely listen in the background.
Yeah, we can't give you a time frame.
I am laying down a few ground rules. Things that will be spoiled will be the powers you were given at the beginning of the game, the general layout of how the world is created, and the general shenanigans you can do around the world. Story-wise, we're not going to touch anything.
Not story.
We might mention a few names that are particularly hot, but nothing that's going to actually tell you anything about the game. Just that there's some real himbos in there.
There really is.
There's a lot of himbos. Okay.
Well, for clarity's sake, we should clarify that like you and I have played 15 hours.
Yes.
Caroline here.
Well, Rani's played. What do you say? You're just
About
under 50.
Yeah, just under 50.
And Caroline is at
190.
190, which seemed and still not. Yeah, still not completed.
No, I haven't beat the final boss. I want to do everything else before.
That's because you've been running around, though, right? Like, the best part about this game is that you can just run around.
I run around, I find things, I complete things out of order.
Yes.
And I can do that.
Well, I can tell you about that.
Okay, Said Games team, let's jump in. Should I give you a fanfare that we found something?
Please.
Yay!
That's been my the new message ringtone for the last 20 years, and I'm never changing it.
I just
what a
found
nerd!
My
my ringtone is the Doot version of the Doom theme. Anyway,
my ringtone is just whatever like Apple ringtone.
Mine's the default. So when old ladies in the shopping center, their phones ring, I think my phone's ringing.
Oh, that's
same.
So Tears of the Kingdom is our new Zelda game. It is now the fastest selling Zelda game, I think.
I was there.
It's doing a lot of work.
I was there in the morning. My EB Games opened early for it. And they had cookies.
Well, that's nice.
And
so
I
jealous.
waited in line. And everybody in the line had the same thought. We didn't think anybody was going to be here for this.
I mean, I'm just a dirty digital person these days, so at midnight it just started working.
That's fair.
I bought my copy at one of the stores. I didn't pre-order because pre-ordering's for suckers, and I walk in.
Excuse you.
Oh no, sorry. I'll say it louder. Pre-orders are for suckers.
I mean,
the door is right there.
I only pre-order digital games.
That's right. But they go in and I buy it just the retail copy, and they're like, "Oh, would you like the pre-order coin that we give away with the pre-order things?" And I go, "Yeah, sure, no worries." There was a coin,
I
the
got
gold
a bag
coin,
tag.
and then I put it on eBay that afternoon, and then got the same amount of money I paid for the game.
I got a
Really?
luggage.
Pre-orders are for suckers.
I got a luggage tag.
Whoa.
I got
A luggage tag.
Yeah, it's a
I
leather
can't-
Zelda
yeah.
luggage tag.
Same. I also got. It's not leather.
No,
Don't lie.
I'm air quote leather.
Yeah, it
Okay.
sucks. I want a coin.
Enough of setting the scene of purchasing the game.
That's the best bit.
Okay, but then
We're
I proceeded
defined-
to not be able to even play the game for the next week because I went to Winton. So
I was on a road trip to Canberra and I played it in my tent.
I'm gonna have to start turning down people if we never get to this game. Okay.
We're never gonna get there.
This isn't one of my 3-hour
this
podcasts.
is the thing. I never got there, right? Like
But
I
you
got
have
the game
now.
and I didn't get there. Well,
got
yeah,
50
okay.
hours
So I've
in.
played
Yeah.
50 hours
But
now.
this is what makes Tears of the Kingdom so great. It's full of distractions you didn't realize you were going to go down.
It is. So Tears of the Kingdom is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild. It's continuing that version of Hyrule. If you're someone that thinks every game is continued in some sort of weird timeline, you're a crazy person. None of it makes any sense. But these games are directly in line with each other.
I think it's only the
definitely
third
don't
Zelda
need
game
to-
that's had a direct sequel.
The
first
yes.
one was Zelda 2.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think they often do it in
Anyway.
trilogies.
Yeah,
But
they
you
do
don't have
weird
to
little
have
collections.
played-
well, I've never played Breath of the Wild, and I understand this perfectly.
So,
fine.
if I'm going to just set a scene of the thing, Breath of the Wild came out and really changed a lot in open world design. We got a bunch of weird powers, primarily about manipulating physics, and a few things. You could fly with a glider, big open world, walk wherever you want. Now, this game is built on the same engine, same basic world layout, and whilst some people seem to think that means it's not a new map, it's like, if you look at most of the Zeldas, they have the same layout. It's the same thing, but in the same engine, with the same world, with a lot of the same abilities, this game could not be any more different, in my view, from Breath of the Wild.
It's also significantly harder.
It's harder. The controls are way more complex because you're doing so much. Because what they did, they took Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and said, what if we put Gary's mod in this? And gave you wall hacking.
Yep.
And then they and then we'll get to that actually.
And then they said, let's teach everybody basic physics.
Yep.
And off they go.
So you start in the sky, and your abilities are as such. You can, with your Ultra Hand, pick up objects and move them around. Mm-hmm. You can also combine them with other objects. And this, much like Breath of the Wild, where everything had its own properties and they would interact in a way, just takes that to the nth level. You can also fuse items with other items. This is done to combat the I have no good weapons because they all broke in the last game. Because now getting a tree branch...
Rock.
Rocks are great.
Rock is very good.
Yeah, getting a simple tree branch is good because you can strap a giant blade to the end of it with a push of a button.
You can also strap a grilled fish to it.
You can strap anything to it.
Or a plank of wood. That one I've done too. Like a whole door.
The same with...
I love that.
Yes.
A box.
I do a lot of just like moving boxes around just to make like lines of sight that people can't see. You can fuse you can fuse things to your shield as well. So you can fuse, say,
a cannon.
A shield?
Well,
a shield.
You can have a shield. My favorite one is still just the minecart, which gives you a skateboard, and you can grind with it.
You can also just grind with a normal
shield.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
I 100% put like a flamethrower on my shield. It's like,
yes.
I did that in the intro. It was great. And you can also do it with your arrows. So you draw an arrow back. You can bring up a quick menu, and you can make it a fire arrow, or you can strap an eyeball from a monster to it, and that makes it a homing arrow.
Wings
and there are
make it fly farther.
Yep. All the materials in the game now have more things to experiment with and combine and double. So you're never going to be without tools because everything is a potential tool.
I do have a gripe about that mechanic.
Go for it.
So if you pick up like bits of the enemies, which you can do, like their horns and
all their horns
are
now just blades.
Yeah. So if you pick it up, you can't fuse it to your weapon. You have to drop it.
You have to drop it again.
You have to drop it to fuse it. And that annoyed me.
That took me ages to figure out, especially when it comes to cooking. I was like, I have to drop things. I have to drop the bucket and then drop the thing into it. I thought if I drop it, I lose it.
Yeah.
So I was going around not eating
it. I feel
there is another pass on the UI and interface for that stuff that could have been done.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a solution there. Because you can do it with arrows.
Exactly. If you can do it with arrows, you should have been able to do it with your
But anyway,
stick.
and then sort of the next two game-breaking powers are the ability to reverse anything's trajectory through time.
Not anything, just specific.
Well, anything that moves via physics.
Anything
you can't
interesting.
do monsters though.
But they're being moved by biology.
Boo.
So I guess you could say everything is physics, but yes, you can't say...
You can move inanimate objects.
Yes. But say if someone throws a giant boulder at you, instead of dodging it, you can just click on it and send it straight back at them.
Yes.
And this becomes a big hack in the game.
It's great for
As does the last move that they give you, which is called Ascend. Which means if there's a roof above you, and as long as it's close enough to you, you can ascend all the way to the top of whatever that structure is.
You can
and
swim
not a
through
weird
it.
texture. Sometimes if it's like an uneven texture,
there's a few ones you can't get in, like down in a certain place that we'll mention. So they give you these things which are basically, Ascend, for instance, I do know the background of that, which is people were sick in the design of having to leave caves after they cleared them.
Yeah.
And one of the designers says, well, I've made this just hack to get me out. How about you use that? And they said, why don't we just give this to the players? Because once you finish the cave, you just go to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
It's
so
great.
What it also does is means that Breath of the Wild was a game about climbing.
Yeah.
While you do climb in this game, it is not about climbing. If you're spending a long time climbing, you've missed a trick. Because
I did spend a lot of time climbing because I forgot about Ascension.
You forgot about Ascend?
Yeah.
You also didn't build a plane.
Or
a wonderful escalator set.
Yeah, look, I can't be bothered building. Yeah. My constructions look terrible and I don't like it.
Same.
And so I would rather climb the side of a cliff face, and I think that says a lot about me as a person
But
because
to get
I would
up,
also do that in real life.
Don't you just raise a rock high above your head, drop it, reverse it in time so it's up in the air, and then ascend through the rock so you're in space?
Oh my god!
How did I not think of that?
No.
I'm
No,
so
didn't
mad.
think of that.
I'm so mad.
And that is a basic move, kids. It's wild. So you start in the sky on these islands. Hyrule's all broken up.
It takes you like 2 hours to get through the tutorial island. Good luck.
Your experience may vary. And then you jump off and you fly down and you land in some water. But also in the
Hello,
game,
Assassin's Creed.
yeah. Because we all know that hitting water at terminal velocity is fine.
It won't kill you at all.
So the big trick here, and this is the next point of the spoilers we're mentioning, is that yes, they've shown the sky. Yes, they've shown Hyrule. What they haven't shown is that this is only 2/3 of the map. The map is then completely doubled underneath Hyrule in an underground section.
There is hell.
This game is fully capable of jumping from the highest point in the sky, going past the land into a hole that's there, and falling just as far underground into a almost pitch black abyss filled with all sorts of lovely treats.
I love it so much.
And monsters that will kill you with one hit.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Everything kills me with
absolutely.
one hit.
Everything in this
have
game is so
thankfully
strong
surpassed that.
except for you.
No, it's just dodge and parry like a real hero.
Duck and weave.
Get good, shall we say.
Get good. Now, I want to ask the experience of one Caroline here, who has put in an epic amount of hours. How have you put in 185 hours into a videoed game?
How?
Yes. I don't mean like personally. I mean, what have you been doing in the game?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be like, what is going on with your life?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do we need an intervention at this point?
What have I
Yes.
done? I have fully explored all of hell, I think. I think I've found all of the light routes, whatever. I have found most of the shrines. I spent a really long time just avoiding the story, but then somehow found later parts of the story in my avoiding the early story.
But that's the joy of what Breath of the Wild has taken. It's
It's great.
that whole structured, let's just fill your mini-map with repetitive tasks everywhere thing. And whilst there are repetitive tasks, there's a few people that, like a guy who needs you to hold up a sign and stuff like that.
Oh my
all the
God,
time.
that dude. I'm so sick of that dude now.
I successfully got one up. I successfully got one to stay
I've
up.
got a lot of them to stay up.
Do you remember
Yeah.
that time we were both trying to make one do it, and it just wouldn't do it. Didn't matter. We even
Listen
looked
to
at
the
the
passion
hint,
these two talking
We even
about
looked
the
at the
concept
hint
of
one.
helping someone hold a sign up. This
and it
is
didn't do it, so I left him there in the storm.
A lot, and there's also the Koroks.
Yeah.
Which
Koroks are back, but
Oh, I
also
love
there's
them.
a new Korok thing.
the Korok, I need to find my friends.
I
And
have
they're
the friends
sending
trying to
up
ditch him.
a smoke signal.
Yep.
And then you can strap rockets to
Yes,
the Korok.
yes. So
and,
people have been torturing little creatures
Oh, I
who
feel so
just want you to take their
crucified
friend.
with them.
But they're fine with it. They don't seem to complain.
Oh, they don't care.
They love it.
No.
They love it. They're
I
like,
used-
wee.
I used a Korok as an in-between sort of piece. I attached it to a bit of wood. Then I attached a flamethrower to the Korok's head, and then a hot air balloon to that on top, and then I rode the Korok up.
So
was
many,
fine.
so
you
many
still have to
possibilities.
go with them.
Yeah.
In order to get the reward,
Yeah.
you still have to
So-
go with them.
So many things in this game just work the way you are. If you're cold and you've got a weapon that has fire on it, just pull out the weapon and
Yeah.
you're warm. Basic things like that.
Or you could do what I did and spend an hour just trying to not die from cold because not realizing that you have to cook things.
Just
to,
eat
like,
and
Oh,
cook
you
and
could do
everything.
what I did and cook 10 chilies,
Yeah.
10 peppers,
yeah.
and have just a plate full of peppers.
I think, playing Breath of the Wild really was very quite helpful for this game because a lot of it is just carry on from that game.
But
Yeah.
but it is a different game because it's not
Yes.
just more of the same. It's
Yes.
hey, remember that thing? We've now taken a new look at. Even just one of the main things you did in Breath of the Wild was they had the towers everywhere you'd climb
Yeah.
up. So this also has towers, and they're not interested in making you climb up, so they just launch you into the sky.
Yep.
Thunk.
Yep.
You're up there.
So good.
Glide where you want. Look at what you want.
Doesn't give me nearly as much motion sickness as Assassin's Creed did.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable. So because this is still not a super long show or anything, we do we recommend?
Yes.
Yes.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah,
Yes.
I definitely recommend
Easily.
it. I was talking to our lovely station manager in
Yeah.
charge, and he was asking me whether or not he should buy it. And I said, absolutely, go get it.
Do it.
Right now. And he was having trouble with the e-store, and I was like, just go get a physical copy. Just walk
Yeah.
into it.
The,
And if you don't have a Switch, get a Switch.
I think maybe the thing that I think is just remarkable about it is Carolyn here's put in 190 hours. Cameron and I have put in about 15. And we're all playing it.
Yeah.
You can be... it is the sort of game that you can go and sink 10 hours in one sitting. Or if you are, say, a middle-aged man with a family, you can go and just do, I'll just go see what's on that hill.
And if you're doing study...
I've had an adventure. I'm done.
If you're studying, it's a really good way to procrastinate.
Sure, why not?
What I love about the music in the Zelda series is that each game will like bring in some new themes, and then every game from then on also includes them in some way.
Yep.
So it's just this compounding soundtrack where it's insane.
It's modular.
Anyway, it is. We are with Z Games, your Legend of Zelda specialty thing.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
I'm Paul, Cameron, Caroline, Rani.
That's me.
We're all here, and we're all feeling very fairied and elfed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do some. So people have enjoyed this series throughout history. Where did we all start with Zelda?
Technically, Breath of the. I think my actual first purchase of a Zelda game is Breath of the Wild. But I did play A Link to the Past at some point, and then my first as an emulator. But my first game experience with Zelda, watching through a whole game, was watching Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I didn't have a Wii U, so I couldn't play it.
I'm like, it wasn't on Wii, it was on GameCube. And then I realised how
They did the
young
HD
you are.
Yeah.
These young people.
I didn't have a GameCube either. I had as a kid I had a Game Boy and then I had a DS.
Yep.
And so presumably I was given a Zelda game at some point on one of those. I vaguely remember this. Don't know which one.
Fair enough.
Don't know what. Twilight Princess would have come in at some point.
Yeah.
Don't know that I ever actually properly played it.
What about you, Caroline? What's your first Zelda?
Well, I bought Twilight Princess, attempted to play it, did not get through the intro, and then Breath of the Wild just sucked me in.
Now to the old men.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
It was 1991.
Dickety six.
Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. Come on.
I Link to the Past also, but emulated on PC.
Hey, nothing wrong with emulator, man.
I didn't have a console until I was about 20.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Which at that point I purchased a game. Oh no, because I had a GameCube in my last year of high school. So I'm wrong. I did buy a console and I bought Wind Waker and I played that on a projector over the summer holidays that I sort of borrowed unofficially from school. And the teacher, when he found out I'd put in dozens of hours into a projected thing, I even played it in the pool. Because I rear projected out my parents' back window. I could just put a sheet in front of the window, and then I had the Wavebird controller, and just keep your hands above the water. I'm like sailing through because that's got to be my favorite.
That is brilliant. That is actually brilliant. I do remember Zelda being the game franchise that I just really wanted to play. I played every single Pokemon game as a kid. And I remember that I wanted to play Zelda. I remember that I just really loved the look of it, and I loved the idea that it was called Zelda. It was the girl, and I was like, "What?
Zelda's a girl?
Zelda's a girl."
Spoilers.
I don't think that's a spoiler. Yeah, they're both blonde and have long hair and long ears, so your guess is as good as mine.
Man, this is old man Cam talking, but you guys are so spoiled for Zelda stuff at the moment.
So much Zelda.
Zelda's everywhere, and we had one episode of the Zelda cartoon a week. That was it, and it was terrible, but we loved it anyway. And that's all we got. It was that, the Super Nintendo game, and Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, the OG. There we go.
I don't want to make this too soundboardy, but I did soundboard a little bit.
Oh, we're on Triple M here right now.
This is, okay. This is my favorite game sound ever. This is from Wind Waker. This is Salvatore. Splish.
Okay, I think I don't know what. I've just unlocked a memory. I don't know what game it was, but I remember that the first time I played a Zelda game, all I did was run around picking up pots and smashing them. That's it. That's all I did. I must have been about 8 or something between 6 and 8. It wasn't my console. It would have been when we got dragged, because I grew up in the States. We got dragged over the border to Kansas. So that Dad could play cricket. with all of his
Kansas, big cricket team.
all of his mates that were like Australian or English or Indian, and they would all come together to play cricket, and then the kids would be shoved into this like side field shed, and there was a I don't even know. I think it was an N64.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that would have been
It's some Ocarina. I mean, I remember play Ocarina. I pretty much ran around smashing pots. I was pretty young.
That was good.
Yeah.
Oh, I have played another. Yeah, I've played Ocarina of Time.
That's one of the big ones.
It was kind of a big deal.
We're all
got to
unlocking Zelda
I got to
memories.
the final boss. Zara lent me it for the 3DS.
Okay, we are going to take another music break now.
Okay.
But
Wow, memories.
in that time, I have homework for my fellow co-hosts. We all have to pick our favorite Zelda. This one doesn't count.
But Tears of the Kingdom doesn't count. So
Tears of
it's
the
kinda
Kingdom
like,
doesn't count.
Breath of
Okay.
the Wild, easy.
Well,
We gotta wait.
Don't
After
hold-
the break.
Don't-
After the
don't
spoilers.
hold the suspense too long, Carol.
Geez, I wonder what old man Cam's going to say.
Okay.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games. You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Perfect. Thank you.
This is the happiest I've ever been
Listen.
on Zed Games.
Hey.
Makes me so happy.
Hey, listen.
Welcome back. Zed Games.
Hey.
Oh man, I'm hitting my hey button a lot, but it's not coming out as much as I want.
But like, I am trained to pay attention whenever I hear that sound.
No, I will not listen. You can't
Always
make me.
listen to Zed Games.
Anyway. Oh, Salvatore, my favorite. Anyway, this is getting to the end of the episode. Everyone gets a few seconds to pitch their favorite non-Tears of the Kingdom. Caroline, we know that yours is, of course, the CDI games.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful, those games.
The what?
The non-Nintendo-made CDI games with terrible, terrible full-motion video. You should go and check that out if you've never done that.
I don't think I want
If you
to.
hate yourself, check it out. It's great.
Oh, cool.
Well, in that case, we all better have a bit of a look.
I'm lined up right now. I'm watching it.
Oh, God.
Y'all know I love Breath of the Wild because I love collecting things. I like picking apples.
Ah, you gremlin.
How many apples do you have now?
I have, 400 and... Oh, no,
it's the
I
blood
can't
moon.
check.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
a
blood
blood
moon.
moon.
Blood moon!
Rookie numbers.
482.
Cam, favorite Zelda?
Link to the Past, Super Nintendo. Come on. Don't even.
We're going to have a fight in a second.
Yeah.
Marnie.
Wind Waker, even though I never played it.
I love Wind Waker. It's
Yeah.
so good. But it's no Link Between Worlds.
Yes, actually,
yeah.
yes. All right, I take back my answer. It is literally the best Zelda.
Yeah, I think that because that's like the turning point for the series for me, where the series was like, oh yeah, it's open world, but it is very linear because it's key door. But people start breaking it, and then with Link Between Worlds, they said, well, what if we let you break it on purpose?
Yep.
And then they said, well, what if we just let you do anything? And that's where we got now. We now live in a post-Tears of the Kingdom world. So everyone will be measured by that yardstick. Take that, Ubisoft.
Yeah. Tell 'em.
I'll hit it with my rock hammer.
Yeah.
Woo! Stick, rock.
Honestly,
rock,
like it's
stick, rock.
it's really the Tears of the Kingdom is the biggest change
the
to open
best.
world games in I don't know. Years.
It's wild. Because
Years.
if you look at each individual element, most things have existed somewhere before.
Yeah.
But at this scale and combined in this way, it is... I'm even though we're making fun of Caroline's 190 hours, I can see how they've done it.
Yeah, totally.
It is
Full
huge.
respect.
It is massive. It is 3 giant maps of...
Yeah, I've done almost 50, and it's just I'm barely into it.
I was thinking the
Yeah.
next Assassin's Creed is apparently
I'm so ready
15
for it,
hours
yeah.
long because it's like being made for the people that like the old ones.
That's nice.
Oh,
and it's
yeah?
like, I could have done it. We could have done it already.
I could have finished a game.
Yeah, but we're in the intro of this game, but we're still happy.
That's
We're
right.
still good.
I always get about 40 hours into a game, and then I'm like, I'm done now. I can't do anymore.
Okay, that unfortunately brings us to the end of the episode. Remember, if you're in Brisbane next week at Netherworld, we are hosting an indie game dev night. Feel free to come along, starting at 6 p.m, same time as the show starts. So some of us will be over here doing that until afterwards, in which case we'll surely have a good party. We'll catch you all later, folks.
Bye. Love you.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.